So far, we have done with Spring Core and JDBC, ORM, and MVC. We understand basically MVC architecture, how we can create controllers programmatically and with annotations. One example we have seen. Okay. Now we will start with the Spring Boot with the knowledge of Spring Core, JDBC, ORM, and MVC. Okay, so you will enjoy it now. Easily you will understand. MVC we discussed, right? AOP we will see. Okay, AOP security. Again, here we are going to see lot of topics. Okay, we'll discuss from Spring Boot. Yeah. Otherwise, it will be repetition. If I do there, it's really not required here. Okay, let's get it from Spring Boot. Okay, it will make things easy for you. Okay, before going to Spring Boot, let's understand how they designed it. Okay, so basically Spring Boot made it for developers to make applications simple. Okay, in terms of what they made it simple. When we say it is easy, how it is easy? So it is easy framework, a simple framework for developers make applications simple. For developers it is easy, simple to implement any application. Coming to standalone, to web, or any microservice. You want to build a simple standalone application for data processing and all, or a web application or a microservice based application, anything, it is simple to you, developer. Okay, so earlier learning curve was very big. When somebody choose career in Java, they will learn core Java, then advanced Java, struts, Spring, a lot of stuff we used to learn, and it used to take a lot of time to learn and understand as well. Whereas Spring Boot made it simple for learning also. How? If you imagine Spring application, Spring web application we have done, right? Using Spring MVC, we have created a web application like employee management system using Spring MVC. For this one, what we have learned first, we learned Spring IOC, how to start servers and all that stuff we learned. And to create the Spring MVC project, we created a web project. We created a web project, and we have to add as a developer, add libraries. And to write CRUD operations, we learned JDBC and we learned ORM. And we did lot of configurations. Web.xml file configuration we have done. And we installed Tomcat, and we deployed our application into Tomcat, right? We installed Tomcat, right? To, to move till here, we did lot of stuff to create this application. And again, we created some view resolvers, dispatcher servlet we configured, not only web.xml file. In web.xml file, particularly we configured dispatcher servlet, and we created Spring XML file with view resolver configurations. isn't it? We have configured so many things. And during adding this library, I have done a lot of exercise and brought all the compatible libraries. If it is a Maven project, usually we will, in real time, we will be using Maven, right? If it is a Maven project, if it is a Maven project, finding compatible libraries, finding compatible libraries is not so easy. If it is a Maven project, if it is a Maven one, finding libraries as a developer, all the compatible libraries we need to find it out, right? Adding dependencies is big task for us. All the compatible libraries we need to add. Just a minute. So adding dependencies is also a big task to us. So a lot of things. We are creating a web project, adding libraries, and if it is MVN, Maven project, we need to add all the compatible libraries, and we have to write a lot of ORM code. For that ORM, lot of configurations we created, right? Session factory, then Hibernate template, or if you imagine JDBC, data source creation, or JDBC template, or named parameter JDBC template. Right? As a developer, you have to do a lot of configurations, a lot of project setup, and everything is sensitive. If I miss small data source configuration by doing all this, everything done properly, data source configuration missed, application will not work. Everything done well, web.xml configuration missed, application will not work. Everything done, view resolver not properly configured, application will not work. Tomcat is not compatible, application will not work. So all these areas are sensitive while you are developing Spring based application, and it is going to provide only web support, not REST. Only web applications we can build. Again, if you need a REST based framework, you need to learn. There also same story, lot of configurations, lot of setup. And how we can make it simple or easy. So Spring team thought about it, all these problems, and they addressed it. Usually what problems developer facing during this application creation. As a developer, our, you know, from the business side, when they see as a developer, they will see only business logic, how he is implementing business logic or CRUD operations. He don't care about configurations. If you say configurations taking much time and it is sensitive, they may not go with Spring. There are a lot of other alternatives in the market. They can make things simple. So to compete with them, Spring also need a easy framework to make it simple to configure, and as a developer you should directly focus on business logic instead of working on configuration stuff, setting up project. Earlier when we don't have Spring Boot, right, when we were freshers, we used to wait when we collect the requirements for the project, right, first time we used to wait for the project setup. Seniors used to create a project with all these configurations and they used to share with us. Then we used to start working on pages and backend part. because this is sensitive area. Everybody can't able to set up it. Of course, we learned we can do it now, but it's really sensitive. Finding out the dependencies, adding them, creating configuration, adding a proper server. It's all big task. So we used to seek help from an architect or a technical lead who can do all the setup. So Spring thought of avoid all these, and as a simple, as a fresher also, you should able to set up your project. You should able to deliver the business. How we can achieve it? There, they given Spring Boot by making all this stuff simple. How, what things they avoided here? First thing, as I said, right, setting up a project was difficult to us, so we used to take help of seniors. They used to create a project skeleton and they used to give it to us. They used to provide to us, and then from there we used to start working. So here, creating skeleton is easy. So setting up a project, basic setup is simple, or creating project skeleton is easy. How? They provided they provided they provided Spring Boot starters. Who made it simple? Spring Boot provided starters. Starters made it simple. Not only this, they given tool also, tool to create project. These two made our task simple. Creating basic project skeleton is not difficult. Can you please go on mute if you're not talking? Yeah, once the discussion is done, right, you can place your questions. Okay. Okay. So to creating project skeleton is simple here because they given tool support. They given tool support with Spring Boot starters. Okay, I'll show you what are they and how it is simple to you. So what are the tools they have given? Spring Initializer, a tool called Spring Initializer given. What are the tools here? Spring Initializer, Spring starter.io given, Spring Initializer to set up the project. Okay, we can create basic project skeleton here. You can use Spring Initializer to create project. So when we are working in Spring Boot, right, we use Spring Initializer to create project. Whatever project it is, standalone or web or REST-based application, we use Spring Initializer to create it. So you need not to go to Eclipse and you need not to create a dynamic web project, add libraries, web.xml file. You don't have all that stuff. Any project you choose, we will go to Spring Initializer and there we will create a project. What is the Spring Initializer? It is a web-based application from Spring. A web application given to us. It is a web application given to us to set up the project. Okay. If this is not accessible, right? Some organizations may not allow you all the websites. So you are working on a banking application, there you don't have option to access Spring Initializer. Okay. Still, if you have access to STS, Spring Tool Suite, it is IDE, right? Which IDE? Eclipse IDE only. Okay. It is one of the Eclipse version, STS. Using this STS also, you can create your project. You can use Spring Initializer or you can use STS or Spring CLI also given. Okay, so we will see about CLI as well. Spring CLI also given command line interface. If you are familiar with Angular, there we used to pass some commands and it used to create project. So using Spring CLI also you can create project. So there are so many ways to create project skeleton here. Any questions? Yeah. So creating project skeleton is not a big issue here. You need not to have much prior experience. Yes. So it is easy to create project. Now if I deploy freshers also into my project and if I give requirements to them, they don't wait for anyone. They simply create a Spring Boot starter application, Spring Boot project with Spring Boot starters using Spring Initializer or STS, and they will start working on it. Earlier we used to wait weeks, weeks of time we used to give to the technical architect or lead to create a project and to provide to us. They used to take a lot of time to set up all this data source stuff, blah blah blah, and finally they used to give the project, and we don't know end of the day whether it will work or not. Sometimes it may fail with the dependencies, or if we need any specific dependencies when we add, it may not function well. Then again we used to reach them and lot of back and forth between lead and team used to happen. Okay, lot of reviews used to happen because there is no proper way of, or there is no proper setup ready made available. When we choose a project and when we try to create a skeleton, depends on architect or technical lead, they will use different ways, different kind of setup, different kind of configurations. There is no proper way of configuration, or there is no particular type to create project like this only. So they used to create on their own how they are comfortable. But when it comes to Spring Boot, it will provide same kind of setup to everyone. So today you created a Spring Boot project, and if someone try to understand it, it is easy to them, because even I create or you create, whoever creates it, setup is same kind of configuration we do. Coming to business may vary to application. Business logic may change. So such a easy to set up project here. And as I said, if it is a web application, lot of dispatcher servlet, web.xml, view resolver, blah blah stuff we are doing, right? So they avoided all that. Even for web application also, web starter given. For web applications, web starters given. So you need not to do all that setup. Just you need to add starter, that's it. How we will add the starters? Via tool only. Just we need to choose. They given checkboxes. So do you want add to cart, web application you want to make? Just add to cart. That's it. It will do all the setup internally. And do I need to do data source configurations, or lot of configurations we used to do earlier, right? Do I need to do all this means? No, nothing. All are given as auto configurations. All configurations given by default. Based on your starter, let's say you add Archill database, and if you add JDBC as a dependency, Spring JDBC, it will understand, okay, I understand what you want. I'll create it for you. Just give me database URL, username, password. I'll create data source for you. I'll create JDBC template or named parameter template for you. You relax and just code. Just auto wire. Whatever you want, you auto wire. I'll create and submit. Who do that? Spring Boot will do that on behalf of you. So lot of auto configurations they have given. So you need not to do any configuration. Means very few lines you may need to add. Otherwise, you need not to create at the rate configuration class at the rate bean for your data source or JDBC template. If I show you examples now, right? uh, Alternate for your Spring JDBC or Spring ORM, you will realize the things easily here. How automatically all that stuff it is providing here. I can do apple to apple comparison with your Spring application with Spring Boot, and I can show you the differences. So it will be easy to you to understand. You will realize end of the day, okay, this is all it is doing. Lot of auto configurations they have given. Apart from that, setting up server is also important stuff, right? Tomcat or WebLogic, whatever it is, to test your application or to deploy your application. We don't have that hurdles also here. You need not to worry about servers. They give an servers, embedded servers they have given, like Tomcat, Jetty, web servers at least. Web server is enough. For any application, web server is enough. Earlier we used to depend a lot on application servers. Now everything is open source to us. So embedded servers given in the form of library only. For this embedded servers also, we will be using starters. So you need not to borrow a server from market. You need not to download Tomcat and install in your server. Just if you have a machine with Java software enough, you can run Spring Boot application because it came up with inbuilt server. What else? Lot of configurations, starters, tools, embedded servers they have given, CLI support they have given, and they made ORM simple. Data JPA one module given, they made your database ORM simple. Basically with no logic. You need not to write less logic, or you may say no code data JPA they have given. It is one of it's a great feature. You need not to write any code for your CRUD operations. At runtime, it will generate all required basic CRUD operations and it will provide to you. So you need not to write. Dynamically, it will write for you. So you need not to write any ORM CRUD operations logic like how we did Hibernate template dot save or update. All that stuff it will take care. And security support, they made security simple here. Whatnot, all the modules they made it easy here using all the modules. Apart from that, there are some other starters also given during development. They will help us like dev tools support they have given, not these tools. Dev tools itself is a dependency. Okay, so dev tools starters they have given. All features will come in the form of starters only. Okay, starters in the sense they are group of libraries only. Okay, so this dev tools library is given to make easy restarts, easy or live restarts application When you do small changes also, right, automatically it will refresh your application, live restarts or refresh. So you need not to again shut down and restart your applications. Automatically, when you add dev tools, it will do live restart, refresh. If you do small change, again, during development time particularly, right? We used to do changes. Lot of times we used to restart our application to test. Here, when you do a small change, it will automatically restart your application or refresh particular file or class, and it will make it available to you. And to understand application health and all, they give an actuator starter. Using this actuator, we can understand what is the current health of your application, or how many beings are created so far, everything. Apart from that, the main feature, the main stuff that we do using Spring Boot is microservices. It is microservices friendly. It is microservices friendly. Implementing microservices in Spring Boot is simple. Okay, these all are nothing. Okay, so it is basically microservices friendly. All microservices patterns we can easily achieve here in Spring Boot. Lot of patterns we have, or lot of setup for microservices functionality, right? We do a lot of setup. That setup also they made it simple here. Implementing microservices is not a big task. With the Spring Boot, it is simple. Okay, so from setting up a project to delivery project until deployment, as a developer, you don't see any difficulty with Spring Boot, right? From the beginning, what I was saying is, if you learn Spring Boot, though you are a fresher or an expert, both will show the same productivity, because setting up a project configurations, basically if you are a senior, you may show difference in the configurations part, you may show difference in the project skeleton setup a project. Otherwise, business logic would be same. When a fresher writes or you write to achieve that particular business, if it is A plus B to me, A plus B to you as well. Same business logic we write. And coming to database logic, I may show the difference if I am expert. But here data JPA also avoiding that. You fresher or expert, you don't write code. I'll write it for you. So just if you are focusing on the business logic, it will be same for us. So we can show the same productivity and same quality also we can give. From the business side, if we see, I'm a business, I need application. If a framework providing such a beautiful features, it will give me good quality. End of the day, good quality of product I'll get. And I need not to invest on all senior team members. I need not to hire, if I need a 10 people, it is not mandatory to me to hire 10 people who is having experience more than 10 years. I can hire 50% freshers and 25% little senior developers and 25% maybe leads. That composition also sufficient to me to get the same productivity. Apart from that, it made things simple. In simple words, Spring Boot made simple to build any web application or microservice application or any standalone application with the Spring features. All Spring features we can use here. IOC features, auto wiring, stereotypes. Okay. So yeah, we'll see going forward. We will add so many um, you know features to it, and I'll show you. how we can achieve things easily in Spring Boot. Okay. Now let's see how to create the skeleton using Spring starters or by using tool. What tools we have. Okay. I'll give you one simple example also now in Spring Boot. Okay. Remember this. I'll give you that web URL. So just if you can open Google and search for Spring Starter, right? Just Google it. Spring Starter. You'll be getting this first URL, Spring Initializer. Start.spring.io. HTTP starter.spring.io. This is the one tool. It is web application, okay? It is web application. If you have internet connectivity, you can use this. But you need to have internet for this one, okay? Internet connectivity. So using this tool, you can generate project basic skeleton. This is one option. And the other option is install STS, Spring Tool Suite. One more is Spring Tool Suite. Search Spring Tool Suite or STS. STS download. Okay. Spring IO itself. From springio.com itself, they are guiding you to Spring tools for Visual Code Studio or Eclipse. So if you use this Eclipse version, you will get STS. If you click on this, you will get Visual Code Studio. Let me give you a direct link. Spring Tool Suite. Yeah, if I use Windows, right? This 4.21. Yeah, it is getting downloaded. So Spring Tool Suite, you are getting 618 MB size. So once you get it, install it. If you install, you will get STS. If you search Spring, you will see Spring Tool Suite. It is similar to your Eclipse only. It is similar to your Eclipse only. It is Eclipse version only, okay? Eclipse version for Spring application. Okay, so you can create a new workspace. You can create new workspace and launch. So let it start. So how you can create or set up a project by using toolsuite or using this initializer. If it is via initializer, first choose first option that you need to choose. What is the build tool you want to use? Is it a Gradle for Groovy or Kotlin or Maven? We are comfortable with Maven, so we use Maven. Few people will use Gradle also. So use Maven. Maven for what? Libraries. Libraries it will get from Maven repository. Maven is a central repository. From there, all the required jar files we will get. And in which language you want to write? Java only. Okay. And which Spring Boot version you want to use? Use any version which you want. Latest version, Spring 3.3 or 3.2, a standard version. Snapshot may be still under development. You can use standard version. And what is your package naming convention? Depends on application, right? So for RBU tech, If you are implementing employee management system, you may give like this com dot rbu dot employee management system. Bus. And artifact means your application name, employee management system. Done. So finally, how you want this application once you code it, how you want to deploy. Generally, if it is a simple Spring Web application, we will choose var file. But in Spring Boot, it is not mandatory to use var, var or jar. Both you can run directly as a standalone, like simple Java main application, how you will run core Java code. Similarly, you can run. So .jar also fine for your web application. And it is not supporting below 17 version. So as it is recommending 117 Java 17 is mandatory. After that, okay, which Java version I need to choose and what is the final packaging and what is the Spring version and what is the build tool, what is the language that you are writing, you choose. And here you need to add starters. This add dependencies will allow you to choose the starters. So all these are starters which you are seeing. All these are starters. Spring Boot supporting starters. So whichever list it is showing here, right? Whichever list it is showing here, that list is compatible to this 3.2.3 version. If we choose 3.1.9 version, that 3.1.9 version compatibility only it will show here. So after choosing these dependencies, you will never get problem that this is not compatible with your Spring version because already you choose which version you want. That version compatible libraries only it will show here. That's how they designed this initializer tool. I want to make a web application, just search for web. They given Spring Web Starter. If you search for web, you will see the first one is Spring Web Starter. Build web including RESTful applications using MVC also uses Apache Tomcat as a default embedded container. That's it, I added it. Bus. I want to create a project. Okay, click on generate. It generated one project and downloaded here ems.zip. One project is generated and given here. You just extract this. See some code is generated here. Let's get it into your Eclipse or STS. Use Eclipse or STS, anything, any tool for you. Okay, both looks same. If you want to import, use import Maven option, existing Maven project, browse, finish. So this is the EMS project which is imported. Okay. So if you see this project, let me build it. Okay, Maven update project. Maven build simple Maven clean install command I am running. So a lot of jars it is importing when we run maven command. Build success means your project created successfully with no issues. Yeah, generally, you will never get any issue because tool created it for you. Now, a default, some folders given here. If you see, just a minute. Okay. So here, if you see one form file generated, as this is a Maven project. Let me increase the font size. So if you see here, Spring Boot starter parent, one parent tag you can see with version. This font not good. Regular. Oh yeah. Just a minute. Canonical. Just a minute, please. Oh, it is coming like this. Okay. Time being, let's continue with this and change it. So Spring Boot version added with some other dependencies. Java version which we choose, you can see here Java 17, and one dependency we added Spring Web. By default, always it will add Spring Test also. One of its great feature is test libraries also it will provide. Mockito, JUnit, you need not to add separate libraries here. Okay, default it will provide to you. Okay, so one Maven project with all required dependencies created, and you can see one resources folder with a few folders and one application properties file. One default application properties file given, and com.rbu.ems, one Java class also given. EMS application with at the rate Spring Boot application is given here. So the basic skeleton for your project is created. Now if you have any use case, you can directly implement it. You need not to write any code. And in place of XML file, we were using XML file for every Spring application. Now they avoided it completely. You can use directly this application properties file for anything. Let me show you this through Eclipse also. Okay? You can use Eclipse IDE also. If you generate your project with Spring IO, you can use Eclipse as well. You can use Eclipse, you can use IntelliJ, any IDE you can use to import your project and work. I hope you have latest Eclipse. Okay, this was the old one. I need to install latest. Same import option, import existing project, browse, downloads, EMS. Same name we have used, right? Maybe rename existing project. Import, finish it. So EMS Maven project got imported. com.rbu.ems.ems. At the rate Spring Boot application with one main method. Under this main method, we have logic Spring Boot application dot run and this class name itself given as a argument here. Okay, this is important to learn about this class. Okay, what is this class? What is this Spring Boot application annotation? And why we are using Spring application dot run method? And again, why we are giving this class name here? What is the use of this arguments passing here? We will understand. Okay, we will learn about that. So this is the basic project setup that has provided one application properties file. Okay, I don't write any code. As it is this application, this is main method, right? If I start, usually main method if we start, run a simple Java application. What we should able to run it as a simple Java application. Mhm. Run as Maven build. So actually compiler I need to change Java runtime JDK 17. Let me change the workspace Java version also. Java 8 is the default one. Let's make it Java 17 as the default one. Compiler also, we need till Java 17, right? Not even 12. We need until 17. Let's see. Below 17, it is not allowing. That is the issue we are getting. Looks things good. Yeah, but not beyond 12 version it is showing. Okay. Let's see in STS. Try to run this. Already we built it successfully. Oh, here also same problem. Windows preferences Java. So it is showing installed something STS plugin it is using. Instead we will add standard VM. Already we have multiple versions. Okay. Java 17 also I have. Program files Java 17. Choose 17. Something weird, but let's wait. As soon as you import, you should able to run it basically. You should able to run this as a simple Java application. Run as, it's okay. If it is not running also fine. Once we done build right, there should be one jar file created. Okay, using that jar also I can run this project. Run maven build. When we do maven install, right, it will create one jar file in the target location. Okay, so you can see one jar file were built successfully, we can use jar also to run our application. Here you can see jar. You can use java space jar command, jar linked error loading class. It must be version issue compiled by more recent version of the Java runtime. Okay, actually using Java 17, but must be compiled in lower versions. That is the issue it is facing. Okay, so let's set up this tomorrow properly and we'll run it. Okay, we will use compatible Java version and run it. Yeah, otherwise this is how we will generate a simple project using Spring Initializer, and we import into our local. In case if you want to set up the same project using STS, also you can do that. Spring Starter. Here also same options given. What is the build type? Maven. How you want to package jar. What is the Java version 17? Language Java. You can use same package name com.argue. Student management system. Student management system or SMS. Finally the package name. Can use same name. Next. Here you can choose the required starter. There also we choose from the top one, right? Similarly, you can choose here. Next, finish. It will directly create project here. Rather than using initializer, you can use STS also. See one project given to you. Same one form file with web dependency and one main method class with the Spring Boot application, and you can run this actually. Run as Java application. Okay. Directly if you run, basically it is a main method, right? See what this log given. In this main method, if you observe, Tomcat initialized with the port number 8080. We don't have any Tomcat server here. Just we added simple web starter and started application, but still it is internally starting Tomcat on 8080 and it is unable to start it. The problem it is saying application failed to start. Reason web server failed to start on port 8080 is already used. Yes. Identify and stop the process that is listening the port 8080 or configure this application listen on another port. Saying shut down the 8080 server. 8080 is for our Arkel. There is an Arkel home, right? That is used. Or else asking us to change different port here. How to change? I did not choose any port, but by default here Spring will choose the port. To change that we will use server dot port here is equal to, you can put your required port number in your properties file. Now you can start same application. Application started application in 4.7 seconds on Tomcat 9090 port number. See how beautiful. No Tomcat server I added, but it came up with the built-in Tomcat. Which one? one dependency we added, web dependency. It came up with the built-in, as it is a web application, Spring Boot saying I'll provide you embedded Tomcat to nothing to worry. When you start your application as a simple core Java application, it will start Tomcat. And your application, it will run it as a web application or REST application. I want to create one simple hello code, REST code I will write. Simple hello REST. REST controller, public string hello. At the rate get mapping, like request mapping yesterday we did, right? So you can give one mapping here, hello, and I'm putting one path variable name. So you can use path variable. So whichever name you submitted, it will come here, and you will return hello plus name. A simple REST method created. No particular setup. Use REST controller instead of controller. That's it. Now this application become a simple REST application to say hello. You can run as Spring Boot app, or directly you can run it as a simple Java application also. Application started in 9090, and you can test it. Localhost 9090 slash hello slash name. Something, if I pass name Navi, giving hello Navi. So now the same application access, if I give it to you, you also can invoke it. Not only from your browser, you can use your REST clients also. From your Java code also, you can call my service. Okay, maybe in next sessions I'll show you that how to call this REST services. I can give you access to test this application. Okay, you guys can enter simple name and access it. What you need to do, just you need to enter this URL slash hello slash your name. You need to enter your name there. Okay, in place of your name, enter actual name, so that you will get response. You can try. Okay, I'll share you the link. You guys can try. Hmm. Rohit, Bennu, Ramesh. So I can see that you are able to access it. You are able to calling this REST service, this hello method. And to create this REST application, did we have we done a lot of exercise to create this project? To set up it means nothing. We just created with a few mouse clicks. Tuck, 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 we created. And one class finally I created by giving my required port number. That's it. So this is how you can create every application in Spring Boot. Just you need to focus on your code only. The remaining setup, the background, all that hurdles, Spring will take care. We are going to learn how it is taking care of all that setup. Okay, step by step we will see how Spring Boot is handling all this stuff and how we can use effectively Spring Boot to make our simple standalone or web or REST applications. Finally, microservices also. Okay, so very important going forward all the sessions. Okay, till now we learned basics of Spring from old Spring framework. Now we are going to see all Spring Boot features which we are really using in real time. Okay, everyday session is important. So yeah, I'll ensure that I'll provide all the examples after the session every day. You can go through the video and practice it as well. Spring Boot is simple. Just you need to hear what all features it is providing. That's it.